Hello, morning, viewer. Thank you for coming back to my channel, Hocantalk. Thank you very much. Again, I produce video to cover business and financial knowledge and to share my close to 40 years of experience since graduation in the financial industry. So I hope that you like my video and subscribe to my video. Again, all my video will be presented in two languages. First will be in English, then will be in Chinese. For YouTube, I will upload both English and Chinese, but for other platforms like Bilibili, I will only upload the Chinese version. So again, without further ado, let's dive in on today's topic. Now, today's topic is a very sensitive and interesting topic because I've been asked recently quite many times by my friends and also a lot of other subscribers because after they see what Donald Trump has used SWIFT as a financial weapon against Russia. So they actually asked me, in the financial world, are there any other system or entity that can also be weaponized? Now, I have done a video on the SWIFT, which will be will be up soon. I think in a couple of days more, you'll be up on YouTube, so watch out for that. So again, today's topic, I want to use my financial knowledge to cover a topic called BIS. So today's topic is, can BIS be weaponized? In Chinese, BIS 能被武器化吗? So of course, you all will ask me, what is BIS? Okay, now BIS stands for Bank for International Settlement. So when I was young, when I first joined the bank after graduation from local university in Singapore, I have been mentioned BIS guideline, BIS Tier 1 capital adequacy, Tier 2 capital adequacy ratio. So the Tier 1 is 8%, the Tier 2 is 12%. So I know about BIS, but at that time I don't really have full knowledge about the background of BIS. So I think now, since people are very interested to know whether can BIS, Bank for International Settlement, can be used as a weapon against other countries. So I think today's video, I just want to give you all the basic information about what BIS is, what do they do, their shareholding structure, and finally I will answer whether can BIS be weaponized by whoever want to weaponize it. Now, let's move on to the third slide. Now, in this third slide, I want to give you a full background information. Now, BIS, which stands for Bank for International Settlement, is a bank. It's actually operating like a bank, but it doesn't serve anyone except all their customers are central banks. Okay, so I'll stop here, but now I'm going back to the history. Now, when it was formed in the 1930, after the World War I. So after the World War I, German lost the war. So German got to do a lot of compensation, they call reparation. So by that time, because there's no standard entity to collect all this money and disperse all this money to other countries who won the war. So in 1930, a group of bankers actually met in Switzerland, and then they formed BIS, Bank for International Settlement. Okay, so BIS at that time was formed, and it was headquartered and based in Switzerland. So, and why it was formed? Because they need to manage the compensation payment from Germany. So who actually started this idea? So I put down here, look at the slide, by who. So the Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, and later on USA. But USA did send some private bank to participate in the meeting, in the convention in 1930. But at that time, because USA wanted to practice something called the isolationist, meaning that they don't want to interfere in the global issue. They just want to stay in their wonderful North America, because it's being protected by the two big ocean left and right of them. So actually USA doesn't want to be involved. So they actually sent private banks, private commercial US bank, to participate in the convention in 1930s. But later on, all the way until 1994, then US Federal Reserve actually put their name into BIS as a shareholders. But the founding shareholders, they include USA, despite the fact that USA Central Bank did not was not present during the convention in 1930. So let's look the next slide. Now, the legal structure of BIS, those people who meet and then they sign an agreement, the Hague Agreement of 1930. So with that agreement, they give a total protection to all the asset and money owned by BIS. So BIS is given something like a sovereignty status, and all their asset, their money were immune or are immune from anyone in the world. So nobody can just go and take their money. It's protected. So of course, if you ask me how strong this law is right now, I think the whole world might is right. So if one day someone challenge it, nobody know. But until today, until now, from formation until now, the BIS is given a sovereignty immunity, meaning all their asset, deposit, money in this bank cannot be touched by anyone in the world. Okay, this also being documented down in a Brussels Protocol of 1936. Now, who own BIS right now? 63 central banks in the world own BIS shares. So these 63 central banks actually represent 95% of the global GDP. Now let's look at the next slide. All these are important before I can answer the question whether can BIS be weaponized by any country who has the intention to use BIS to sabotage or to make another country miserable. So let's look at now I discussed why it was set up, who set them up, and then who are the current shareholder. Now the board, I talk about management of BIS right now. Now the BIS is managed by a board of directors, and all these the directors are the government of the founding central bank, which I mentioned in my previous slide, and some of the elected members from the 63 central bank in the world who are shareholders. So certain elected member will go into the board. Now, who is the current CEO now as the year 2026? He was the previous governor of Bank of Spain, and now he has been selected. I won't read out the name. You can look at the slide. So he is now the CEO of BIS, which is based in Switzerland. Now, does BIS has any business? Actually, yes. BIS is a standalone bank. It operates exactly like a bank, but it doesn't serve people like you or me. It only serves central bank. So all their customers are central bank. Not many, but the volume and size are huge. So in this case, I put down here the slide. Okay, they actually provide banking services to all the central bank. Then also they set banking standard called the Basel standard. That's where I mentioned in the early of my slide, the Basel 1, Basel 2, Basel 3, Basel 4. Right now it's Basel 4. So the Basel standard, they form a community, and this community is overlooked by BIS, is a community within the BIS. So all the central bankers, they will go to Switzerland for meeting regularly, and then they will discuss the standard of all the bank operate in this world, and everybody got to follow. So it's called the Basel standard. Like for example, the capital adequacy ratio of 8% come out from this community, which is formed by many central bankers, and they go to Switzerland, they have discussion, then they came out with this idea. Later on, I will tell you why they set up the Basel standard. Now, if we look at the next slide, now where does BIS get their revenue from? Because remember, BIS is a standalone entity with shareholders, which are all the central bank in the world, and they are based in Switzerland, and they have sovereignty immunity. So they don't have any funding, except some seed funding from the members, founding members who buy their shares, new shares. But other than that, they don't have anything. So they operate exactly like a profit-orientated bank. But the only difference between this bank and other banks like Morgan Stanley, DBS or Singapore is that BIS only serves central bank as their banking customer. So what do they do in order to earn money? So they provide banking services to the whole world global central bank. So a lot of central bank like Singapore and all these things, People Bank of China, they put some of their foreign reserve with BIS to earn interest. So they actually put some deposit with BIS. Now, BIS also offer a lot of gold management and gold services, such as refining of gold, storage of all the gold held by central bank, or they provide trading of the gold. So, for example, if one central bank want to unload physical gold in exchange for dollar and cent, they don't have to do it in the open market. They can do it with BIS. So BIS also do some swap services if central bank A need currency A, but they don't have it. They want to swap a big amount of money, but they don't want to do with private banks. They want to do with something more contained without disturbing the private market, so they can do it with BIS. So BIS have money, they will swap with the central bank and facilitate this transaction. Now, of course, BIS also offer FX trading settlement or intermediary transaction. So in case a central bank wanted to exchange into a big FX, if they do it in the private market, then it will affect the FX rate. But because BIS, they have their own portfolio of currency, so you can just swap with them for big amount of money without affecting the private market. They also offer fund management and asset management services because, like in many countries, foreign reserve, some of the foreign reserves are given to central bank to manage, and sometimes central bank outsource this money to BIS for them to manage because they are reluctant to give to private asset management, like those are commercial bank, to manage for secrecy reason. And for people who are keen to know what are foreign reserve, I actually produce a video on foreign reserve. You can go and take a look. I've put it in 2 languages as well. Now, let's look at the overall financial strength of BIS. Since BIS got to depend on themselves, they offer services to all the central bank. So are they financially strong or are they profitable? So if you look at the profit for the year 2025, they actually make a profit of 1.1 billion US. So they are profitable. But if you look at the balance sheet, the annual report of BIS, all their currency is quoted in a unit called special drawing rights. They don't quote it in US dollar, they don't quote it in pound, they don't quote it in euro. They actually put under SDR. So it gives everybody the idea that BIS is above all country in terms of biasness, in terms of prejudice. So BIS is here to serve all central banks from all countries on this earth. So they don't want to use anybody currency as their reporting currency, so they actually use something called the special drawing rights. Now, what is special drawing right? This will be another video. I won't spend time talking about it. If not, my saliva will be dry up. Now, if you look at the other part of the financial statement of BIS, which they make it public, you can see the total asset size is about 431 billion SDR. Currently, the price of SDR to US dollar is about 1 to 3.6. So 1 SDR is equal to 1.36 US dollars. So in terms of US dollar, it's about 570 billion. So it's not a small bank, it's a huge bank. I just give you these 2 numbers. I won't go further into detail because this topic of this video is, can BIS be weaponized? So I won't go into the fundamental of BIS that much because at the end of the day, I got to answer whether it could be weaponized or not. Now, does BIS need to pay tax? The answer is no. Because BIS has sovereignty right, sovereignty immunity, so they behave like a country themselves, despite the fact they are corporate setup. So they do not pay any tax to any country in the world. Okay, no tax. So this, even the fact that they are based in Switzerland, they don't pay tax to Switzerland government. They pay normal services, like if they employ employee, they pay salary, they rent office, they pay rent. They get someone to clean the toilet, office services, building services. They pay all these services, but they do not pay tax to any country. How about an employee of BIS? So BIS employ a few thousand employees. So do this employee pay tax? The answer is yes. Now, if you work for BIS as an employee, if your nationality is from a certain country, then you got to pay tax there. Okay, but what I can tell you is BIS pay very good salary. Or even after tax, it's still very, very good. So if you have a choice, you can write into BIS to see whether they have any vacancy available. But I just want to let you all know that despite the fact that I study finance, I got master degree in finance, my whole life, I have never ever thought of working for BIS. Despite the fact that BIS has some offices all over the world, but the main office is in Switzerland, because my mentality when I was young is it's quite difficult for me to leave Singapore and work overseas because I have aging parents to look after. Now, let's look at the shares of BIS. Okay, so now we know why it is set up, who are the shareholders, the financial performance, the services offered. Now we look at the share of BIS. Can anybody buy BIS share? Is it listed? Is it traded? Now, there are currently 63 shareholders, which I mentioned, and these are all central bank in the world. There's no valuation, there's no price quoted for BIS share. Every BIS share is priced according to the net asset value of the balance sheet of BIS. And the currency that you need to buy or quote to pay for is SDR. So again, you might ask me, hey, where can I get SDR? Again, that's a topic of another video. I can't talk too much about SDR because it's a very, very deep and big topic. Now, is there any secondary market for BIS share? If you like BIS so much, can you go and buy the share? The answer is no. There's no secondary market. All the central bank share are being bought by them through invitation. Meaning, if BIS think you qualify, your central bank qualified as a shareholder, they will invite you to come in and buy new share. So when you buy new share, you pay the NAV, net asset value of the new share. Okay, so it's only through invitation purposes. If you look at the slide, actually before the year 2001, 14% of BIS share were in the hands of individual shareholders. But after that, the board of BIS go through many meetings and they force all these individuals to sell this share back to the central bank and to make BIS 100% central bank owned and managed. Okay, the next slide before I go to whether can BIS be weaponized is to tell everybody that BIS actually has a very important function. Of course, there are many functions. I just want to highlight this one so that my viewer at least can remember one thing, which is the Basel banking standard. Now, the Basel banking standard is based on three principles, three pillars. Number one, they want all the bank in the world to have minimum capital ratio. So they set the ratio of 8%. That means every $100 loan that you lend out, $8 must be your own money. Okay, number two, they want to make sure bank is very strong in supervisory review. They want to make sure that they monitor all the banks to make sure that no bank collapse will interfere or affect the whole global financial system. Number three, the pillar three is also they want bank to have automatic reporting and disclosure regime, in a sense that bank always have to disclose their financial statement and results. So that's why you see sometimes when you look at local newspaper, you go to Hong Kong, you go to Singapore, some of the major financial newspaper, you can see that some bank who doesn't operate in Singapore also advertise their financial performance through an advertisement on the newspaper. That's part of the disclosure set by this standard, the Basel standard. Now, why set up this Basel standard? I just give some example, and this will be coming to the end of the video. Then the next question will be talking about weaponization. Now, Basel standard actually evolved from one, now version 2, version 3, now it's version 4. So it keeps evolving. Now, when BIS wanted to set up this thing to do this standard, it happened in 1974. Now, in 1974, there was a German bank. You look at the slide, I won't read out the name. That bank bankrupt and collapsed. So a lot of banks, central bank think that, hey, this is not the way to run the financial system. It creates risk. A bankrupt bank in a country can actually affect other countries as well. So they form, all the central bankers again fly to Switzerland and they form a committee. The committee is called the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, BCBS. And from there, they start to think that they have to set a certain standard for all the banks that operate in the world. And this standard is called the Basel standard. Basel is a location, it's a place in Switzerland. So they flew there. I never been there. Maybe I'm quite sure maybe that place is very beautiful. That's why everybody go there. Hopefully after this video, you have a chance, I want to go there and take a look. So when they go there, they wanted to come out with international standards. So in the year 1988, Basel I was being released, and then they urged all the banks in the world to follow. Now, despite the fact that Basel standard is not a law, meaning you can choose to follow or don't follow, but all the banks in the world will follow. Because why? If you do not follow, then other banks don't want to do business with you. Okay, and also if you do not follow this standard set by BIS, then your credit rating, because Standard & Poor, Moody's, all these credit rating companies, they will rate your financial strength of your bank. So if you don't follow this standard, then your rating will be very poor. So every bank, despite it's not a law, but all the banks in the world will follow this standard to make sure that they are obeying with market rules, conforming with market standard. Okay, so now we wrap up all the introduction about BIS, and now we come to the question that you all are most interested to know. If you look at this slide, can BIS be weaponized? The short answer is yes. Yes, because remember, USA Federal Reserve is one of the founding members of BIS, and all these members has voting right. But using BIS as a weapon is not very effective. Why? Number one, look at the slide, more forms over substance. Now, because BIS doesn't have any commercial business, it serves only central bank. So even if you weaponize BIS, the impact that you want to put on the other country that you sanction is not very great, because at the end of the day, BIS just serves all the central bank in the world, which is not too many, and it never spill over to real economy. That's number one. And number two, BIS is also the standard setter. They set the standard. So again, the answer is yes, you could, but it's just form. It's very difficult to hurt other party, because again, now at the end of the day, central bank has to do settlement among themselves. So even if you kick one country out, the impact on that country, they can always bypass or go through another central bank and come back to BIS again. So again, the impact, the substance is very low lah. Maybe name-wise, USA can do anything, but again, the impact is very low. So the answer is more form over substance. Number two, look at another slide. Can BIS be, like I mentioned, BIS only serves central bank. So even if you make BIS a weapon, you only take away some business from the central bank of the country that you want to deal with. So the impact is very limited. The last factor is, remember, BIS was set up, and then because of the treaty signed, it was given a sovereign right, meaning it's like a separate country. So it's very unwise. Of course, now USA can do whatever they want, but it's very unwise to revoke this immunity and challenge their sovereign right. It's very unwise. But I think the biggest commercial reason is form over substance. It is the power of BIS as a weapon is not very significant. Then at the end of the slide, I have to mention about other financial organization in the world, because some other subscriber and viewer also asked me, hey, what happened to IMF, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and BIS? So if you compare these three global financial organizations, can they be weaponized? So I rank down these three. I put IMF, yes. This one I'll talk about that in another video. World Bank, yes. Okay, IMF, the bigger shareholders is US Fed, and they have a veto power. BIS, yes also, but unlikely, because form over substance. Okay, thank you very much. Now is the end of the video. I hope you understand everything about BIS now, why BIS was set up, the shareholding structure, the funding, the financial positioning, the situation about all the share, and also the standards set by BIS, and most importantly, can BIS be treated as a weapon? The answer is yes, but again, the impact is very small. So I hope you like my video and you learn something about BIS. So next time when you hear BIS, you at least know the full background, and it will help in your financial, in your career, or in your business decision. So again, thank you very much. Do subscribe, and I see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.